Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Social Security as Representative Minister for Aged Care. Minister, there are 7 multi-purpose health services in Victoria, with 2 based in my electorate of Indi, 1 in Corryong and 1 in the Alpine Shire. CEOs tell me that funding arrangements have not kept pace with the national funding average provided to public sector residential aged care services. Will the government tell me what they are doing to ensure equality of funding in all aged care places across the aged care sector, but especially in regional Victoria?
I call the Honourable Minister for Social Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the member for Indi for her question. Of the 11 services that provide multi-purpose services throughout Victoria, there was an increase in funding of 4.7%. and from 12.8 million to 13.4 million. And as the member would know, there has been a practice now since the 1990s that these services are funded per bed, per day, regardless of whether there's someone actually in that bed or not, and that's a different funding model that would otherwise apply to standalone residential aged care services. That practice the government has not changed, but there have been issues raised more recently which the government is engaging with, and the Aged Care Financing Authority is going to provide the government with advice on issues affecting the financial performance of rural and remote services providers by later this year. And they'll be consulting with the sector and providers, and they'll be able to raise their concerns, and I'd encourage the member to engage with that process. This funding arrangement has been in place for a long time. It was set, as I said, in the 90s, and it has run all the way through until this time. But with changes in rural and regional areas and the demographics and the changes between home-based care and by care provided in residential aged care and the changing demands, these things will be looked at. We will consult. We will listen. Members of the House will know, on both sides of the House, that is a similar approach that the government took to the recent issue of the Department of Social Services grants. Last week I was pleased to announce some $40 million going and dealing with the service gaps, whether it was the Mirabel Foundation, which members opposite have raised, or Carolika, or members on this side with Hartfeld House up in the north coast of New South Wales. We will listen, and we will act when we listen to people, and in this case we'll be listening to the concerns raised by those in the member for Indi's electorate.